Alright, I think we're gonna get started. Alright, get started? Let's get started!
Yeah, baby!
I'm gonna sit here.
I need somebody to whistle. Very loudly. Oh, nice. Okay, so it's so awesome to see everybody. It seems like it's been forever since October, since we were last gathered up here at Parlor, which many thanks to Kristen and staff for making it possible, and so she really does. And it's really great to see everybody here. Lots of familiar faces, some new faces. One is we already have our talk for next month figured out, and that was really good. And we talked about some different things on my website soon. But then next, where's Mark? There he is. Yes, pay attention. So Mark is going to talk about getting found, how you can make it right, and he has a wealth of knowledge. So I highly recommend that if you know any businesses who are interested in being found on Google, anybody who can't make it, it's going to be a Wednesday night. Before.
Where are you going?
Going to Hawaii.
Awesome.
So,
wow.
yes, we're like cashing in all the points and miles.
Are you taking Bob?
Yes, I am taking Bob for February. And I'm thinking about some great topics for March, but we have the whole rest of the year. So if you have ideas, panels work out really well, where you don't really have to come super prepared, and you can bounce ideas off of other people. So if you're interested in email marketing, Catherine, I've been thinking about email marketing panel. Again, it's all sharing ideas, expertise, and what works. So if you have ideas, things that you're interested in, let me know. There's a conference in Boston, it's in May, and it's all about mobile marketing and SEO and the video library. So if you're a member, you can access the video library of past talks. We have, I think, 15, maybe 20 talks there, including the DIY public relations, which is really a great talk that's really. And then Mark. Oh, when Mark speaks, is anybody interested in having their website looked at in terms of what you could be doing for local SEO? Right, good. So any NIM email that you've gotten, if you hit reply to that, it goes directly to me. So then I'll say, hey, interested, you know, kind of, we're going to anonymize it, but your site may be anonymously used as an example, but the perk is that you get Mark to look at your site and you don't have to pay him. So it's good. Question?
I have 40 keyword phrases, so.
How many keyword phrases on the website? 40 phrases.
That's down, and it absolutely works.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely knows his stuff. We had a photo booth at NIM. We were going to give away the membership, which gives you access to all the videos in our library. And we wanted to announce the winner, which is Noda.
No way!
Yes. Yes. So you have free access for the year to all the video library. And thank you so much for playing and being a good sport and taking lots of great pictures in the video booth. And what else? Okay, so, if you're going to tweet, we would love it. Use the hashtag NIMRI. And I think that's all the general announcements for now. And I'm really excited about this talk. Scott and I have been talking about this for a really long time, and it's so important to have visuals. Every conference I go to, the big discussion is all about Facebook Live or video, or you have to post with a picture. And there's tons of statistics that I put out in the emails that talk about why having a picture with your marketing is really important. And Scott is going to tell us how easy it can be with all of his tricks and expertise. Scott has 25 years of photography experience, starting first as a photojournalist, and now any photographer worth his salt does many other things, including video, but I will let you know. So thank you so much, Scott.
I'm also the operator of the PowerPoint here. But anyways, I guess we'll go to the next slide. Sure. So my background is photojournalism, as Susan said, and I do a lot of video, and I work with myself, also specialist crews up to 30 people. At times I'm the photographer, I'm hiring a videographer, I'm producing and directing. And there are times I'm also doing both, I'm doing the video. It just depends on the projects. Creative stuff with light leaks and all the things that break the rules of photography. And I love taking pictures with my phone. I just take lots of pictures with my phone, and Instagramming is basically the basis of where I'm going to start at. And who doesn't have a smartphone? So I'm going to start with the basis of Instagram. Who is there a way to start? From there you can. So I'm going to start with the base of Instagram. And when I take pictures, a lot of times I take the pictures just with my phone. I don't take it through the Instagram app. I do use an iPhone, and I just take it through the camera app, and a lot of times I'll process the images later. I used to, when I first did Instagram, I had the thought that I mostly photograph and video people and telling stories. But what I find in my Instagram feed is mostly landscapes. I do not like taking landscapes with a real camera. I love taking it with an iPhone. And so you'll see my feed is a little bit off my brand, but my brand is also about enjoying the journey and getting outside and having good adventures and just having. My Instagram feed, this was a shot screen grab today. There's a lot of landscapes, but then there's also behind the scenes of some bigger productions we recently did. So I think a lot of keys is I see a lot of like PR departments or marketing departments, more and more people having to do their photography in-house. And they're really starting, and sometimes let's say it's a ribbon cutting, or maybe it's a company who has a booth at their expo. They're taking, their pictures are just too far away, they aren't cropped, there's just too much going on. So I'm really about quickly scrolling through, so you want to stop them. Go ahead. So I think cropping is you like it and hopefully engage with your image. So this is just, I went for a run a couple days ago and I saw it a little bit differently. So I was like, I don't want to see the roads, I get down a little bit low. And then I'm shooting with the iPhone, not through the Instagram. And I mean, this whole process from here, stopping, looking, taking it, and processing, probably more powerful it is, because there's too much going on here. A lot of times, you have group shots for like event photography, crop people out a little bit. And this is my back area. I go through it, crop it, simplify, you can see what's framed up. But I think the biggest thing that make your images better on Instagram and then Facebook and stuff is when you do crop and tight. People can't see all our distances.
Feel free to, just as a refresher, feel free to ask questions.
I'm all about simplifying my life, and that includes the less app, the better. So I do it on my phone, and I don't like, some people will take the picture, throw it in this app, Instagram actually. So some tools a little bit later, but pretty much this is all Instagram. So I use the phone app to take the picture, and then when I get a chance, I'll stop and.
In the picture of the deer on the right, it looks like the deer are sharply focused, but the fern in the back is a little blurry.
Yeah, so listen, Instagram, you can zoom in here and make everything else go out of focus. Go to edit mode. You can change the brightness, the contrast, the tilt shift. You can change focus. So in this case, I realized there was a lot going on. It was more about the baby deer. And sometimes I'll darken the corners. It's really easy in Instagram. All those filters. I like to use Instagram as my base. So,
always stuck with is like, oh my God, I don't want to crop someone out of the picture, and I also identifiable human in these pictures, these group photos. How did you wind up doing that? 'Cause I think you did a great job.
So it's literally hitting the 10-second timer and running to jump in space after a day of shooting. So crop it as a square in Instagram, and I think I have a few down. We'll see that where I did crop a person a little bit, or a little bit funky angle, or maybe some faces aren't as prominent, but it's okay. It's
bad when there's a group photo about like cropping someone out, or like no. This was more of like, how do you deal with that?
Well, sometimes I'll take multiple pictures. So one of the things I like to do is we'll take 2, 3, and you just gotta look at the overview. But my goal is so you can see everyone's face. And sometimes it just doesn't happen because someone might play around with it. Yeah.
Besides cropping that that picture, what else did you do in terms of contrast, brightness, whatever else?
All of the above.
Yeah.
So I took it like this, and then probably the next day or that night when I got home, I cropped it, I changed the brightness, changed the shadows, changed the contrast, added a filter, and just kind of tweaked it. But when you do look at the sliders of pretty much any app, but let's say Instagram, let's say you can change the brightness. Sometimes you can go a little bit, just a slight difference, but sometimes it's really good just to go all the way and then work your way back and just kind of go slowly until you zoom into what you like. But sometimes you would never go to the far right. You just kind of go a little bit, but then if you go to the far right, that's pretty cool. So it gives you like this really quick overview of what your endpoints are, and then you can start zooming into what you like. Is that good? Right? So use filters. I mean, have fun with the filters. I mean, so these are all the befores, these are the after, before and after. I mean, you can just see the difference of just tweaking all those brightnesses and contrasts and the tilt shift focusing on certain parts. And you know, if it's too contrasty, not so perfect, then if it looks old, then great, just post away. So whatever it looks good. I mean, this is kind of a boring picture, but we used to have saturation, so the colors really pop. Not much difference. I didn't do much more into that one. It's more saturation. Same with this one. Simplifying, and like I said earlier, is a lot of times I used to like always experience life, so I don't always be behind my phone taking all these pictures and oh my god, I have to post it and do the filters while everyone else is talking. So a lot of times now what I've been doing today, so you can actually, in a lot of businesses, you can create a whole month's worth of content. The chef, do it all in an hour or two, process it all, and then schedule, put that out there, then you just add on top of that. So you have your daily base that you're always creating your audience, small business, but then you can build on that as we're going hunting. I've never hunted before, and I still haven't hunted. I just went with them. I shot with my camera, phone shots. I took my real camera too, and sometimes I will shoot my phone in square mode, going out and very at sunrise. I never get that early, but so on these I spent a minute or two. And the first time you do it, you might be slow at it, but when you get through these really quick. But the other thing is, I didn't post these all that day. I post them over 3-4 days, like one a day. And it isn't about picture and visual art. And then I also post these other places too. But go ahead and have fun with some of the creative tools that are out there. There's a ton out there. And Boomerang is like lots of little pictures, and it loops around, does it over and over again. And this one will play. So this is like an acting the job part of the crew.
If I go back,
Up, go back, right. Almost every night, and friends make fun of me. So, and we'll get into why this is off my brain, kind of fun. And these are actually more Instagram stories, not actually posted. Another tool it's an Instagram is you can take multiple photos and put them in one square. And I do think when you're scrolling through an Instagram feed and even other feeds, it's always square. So in this case, it was a job we shot, I think last week, and it was one of our end of the day group shots. And so we wrapped ourselves in the curtain. But they're really horizontal. I knew it wouldn't fit in this square format. I really wanted to. So we shot a couple shots. So they have this framing option. So I took 2 frames. This literally took seconds. And then just added a filter and then just posted as a square in my Instagram feed. That's another way to remember it's running small too. So okay. So does anyone do Instagram stories? No one's doing So Instagram stories is like a story you can do, and after 24 hours it goes away. You can keep adding to it over every minute or every hour or 6 hours later, just keep adding to it. So what I like about Instagram stories is it's another tool, another way to express myself. It doesn't really fit into my brand, what I do. So people who is kind of behind the scenes in a lot of my productions. So people follow it that way. But then after 24 hours, it goes away. No one sees it. So then you can add text. You can something that you can do videos. I think if you hit the key, I think
Sorry.
like video, so you do videos like this is our first setup. This is the start of the day. This is Nani. She's my script, and then go ahead. Maybe do it twice. Like that was a video. And that's a boomerang actually. So she just keeps going back and forth.
Is it 24 hours from your last?
One goes away after 24 hours. So each posting has a 24-hour clock, and it goes away. And I think now you can actually archive and share them later. So you can just have fun. Client, the actors, and the art directors, producers, and we just create this little video. Do a little video here with this Ozma and doing some silly taekwondo moves. So this is like all part of the story. So it's another way. Recently, they gave one of their baggage handlers had a camera or whatever iPhone that did his story and explained what it's like to be a baggage handler. And they ran a 24-hour story. It was brilliant. So they're actually, you can see that in a restaurant, giving the chef, they have him do a little story like, this is the meal I'm making, this is how I cook the eggs. Or they actually have in a small business, have people create little stories. And they do hashtags so people can find you that way in a 24-hour story. Any questions there? There's tools out there, so you can type in producer, and you can see like some of the best ones to do. Maybe doing Rhode Island Life versus Rhode Island. Somebody's doing the lesser known hashtags, so you get more followers. So I just kind of look at this. I actually put running because I was running, and all of a sudden these bunch of runners start following me. So it just wherever it kind of comes to, and if you're really into it, you're really into analytics, there's plenty of tools that can help you create those cache tags. I just don't get into that much. So, but I do use hashtags. I try to use like 5 to 10 every time I post.
To Southwest. I fly Southwest all the time, at least once a month. And if I take, and I'm always talking with the flight attendants, taking pictures with them. So if I wanted to post those pictures, notice that.
They have a tag you can tag them. And it's in the magazine, I think. I want to say it's SW Airlines. I used to put SW Air until I would remind me I'd sound like swear. Pull people from people's feed and share it on their feed. I have examples, Southwest Airlines.
I'm going after them as a sponsor.
Yeah.
And for myself and a couple other folks that we're involved with, and I'm like, how do I do this? So this at least keeps them going.
They're really good in their Instagram feed. They really follow. Go to their Instagram, their feed, and I think in the caption it tells you what to tag them at, and then you may end up in their feed. So create some offbeat fun. And I was just thinking about this the other day. I was like, I need to do more of this fun, funky stuff. So let's go on to the next thing. So I, as a joke, years ago, I took pictures of my feet because Southwest Air I fly a lot. And I always try to get this seat where I can stretch my legs out. And so I took a picture, like, God, I got my favorite seat on Southwest. I could swear at the time. And so then all of a sudden, now I've been doing it for so long, and every time I get on the flight, I have a little caption. And people follow me and tag, when they on the plane, they tag themselves. Scott and Deborah, this is my favorite seat. It's pretty funny. And like this is a Frank flask, and someone like messaged me, is that a Frank flask? And it's interesting when you start doing some like, I have, 50 of these or so. And when people just start following, you don't even know, they start tagging you because I take pictures of my feet on Southwest Air. Southwest Air hasn't picked up any of my pictures. So I think some of that funky stuff, one time I did, my friend left some years ago, when Instagram was new, left her sunglasses at my house. So I did a whole thing for like a month of me wearing her sunglasses in the shower, in bed. My daughter hijacked my Instagram and took a picture of her, and it was this whole thing. It had this big following. People just loved it, and it's just these really quirky things people love to follow. And so I always suggest when you come up with cool ideas, just do it and have fun with it, run with it. And this all started just from a little snapshot that I keep doing it. The other thing I like to do is at the end of my assignments, whether it's 1 day or 4 days or whatever, whoever's still on set, at the end of the day, we take a funny picture. And usually we try to think, what's the theme of the day? And like this was actually a couple of weeks ago. We were all tired, just low energy. So we decided to do the coffee thing, the coffee mugs upside down. And this was at a beehive, and it's just this is an example of what do you do when you can't see everyone's face. I just don't worry about it when it comes to Instagram. There's just so many people. I mean, I'm not going to get everyone's face in there. So I just crop it tight and just know that some people are not going to be seen. So we try to use humorous pictures. But what I found now is actually I'll get hired by clients who will say, "Are we going to take that picture from the day?" And we want a picture like that. It's funny. And I also have people I haven't worked with before. I talk to them on the phone or they message me like, "You have so much fun on your sets," which we do. We have a lot of fun on our sets. So it's put out my brand of creating these great photography and video, having fun on set, and all on Instagram. So and these are all just shots. Like put a little tripod. I have a little tripod that's for an iPhone. I just stick my camera bag. So just prop it up on a bumper of a car or a picnic table, and just hit the timer and run in and jump in. So. And use your images everywhere. I think when you're creating these images, when I'm creating these images, I'm thinking I'm going to use these. I'm not just going to use them on Instagram. I want to use them elsewhere. And I think this is the power of doing it. And here's an email I sent out, and this one's just shot with my phone. This is production behind the scenes. And so everything I post goes to, typically it goes to Facebook, sometimes my personal page, sometimes my business page, goes to LinkedIn. I'm not on Twitter, so I'm always using it with articles I'm writing, or just sometimes people need behind the scenes images, like if I'm working with the Film Commission, they like to have behind the scenes images, so I'm just sending them easy photos. And I usually set up a Dropbox, so after I get it out there in the world, and start sharing your voice, your story, basically. I'm not really huge in analytics, but what's really cool, and other tools will tell you this too, it'll tell you which fits my brand, or warmer colors. Their logo, their color schemes, more cooler, colder colors, or more warmer colors. I also use Planoly. I don't use it as much lately, because lately I haven't been inventorying it out so you can visually see it. So you can see how the color palettes shift. You can see how I'll have a visualizing what the feed will look like over a month's time, so you can start moving stuff around. It's a great tool.
What's it called?
Planoly found when it comes to visually seeing your feed and scheduling out. Have you ever heard of IFTT? If you're, let's say, Instagramming, you wanted also to post automatically on LinkedIn, you can do hashtag LI. You can create your own hashtag, but hashtag LI, and then it'll post to Instagram, and then it'll post to LinkedIn. You can do, postings, and just make it easier so you don't have to post to Instagram, then go to Hootsuite, or go to Facebook, or go to LinkedIn, and manage the tools. There's a million out there, and I don't know them all, but these are the three I like. Square.
And what does that one do?
I like Planoly for scheduling out because you can see it more visual. So it can tell you the best way to learn how they're getting their followers. You can get advice that way and stuff. What other questions you got? Yeah.
So of all the landscape photos, the group photos.
People who know me will comment, and then people like the duck hunting. For a reason, I think a lot of it has to do with hashtag, and I also know that. So I go through phases where I'm really engaging with other people, and then I go phases I'm just kind of
Or candid, totally candid shots.
It's the goofy shot, goofy day at work, or I'll do those hashtags too. 5 a week or something. So I'll go for 1 a day, but maybe one other side. I'm kind of taking a step back at that. But then the last couple of weeks I've been getting back into it, and now it's starting to go back up.
So the business case for doing this is reference these photos. But what's the real business case for you as far as how does it actually generate work for you? Is it just
well, Rhode Island too, but so even today I noticed an art director that I've worked with. I think it's upwards of 10 years, and then I think that's how it's just always been in their mind, and have a whole different project with just people, you know, actors on the beach or whatever. It has nothing to do with my fee.
So on Instagram, will you post like photos and a group? You ever do group sets, or is it all single images?
I always do single images, but I see more and more going left too, and see more. And I can see doing that if you want to tell a little story, like, you know, how to make your pizza. And you do four shots and people scroll right. But for me, how to do your pizza, and I probably want to post it individually. So I think, anything else? Cool. Yeah.
I don't have a question so much, but I'm Henry Drayton. I'm a filmmaker here. I'm going to be here until February 9th, something like that. And yeah, I'm going to be around. If anyone needs any help with any video or photo stuff, you know, I'm going to be around. I'll be right here. If you need a business card or anything, just come talk to me.
Awesome.
And I can shoot some stuff for you, take some photos. You know.
And he does good video, really great video work. And I'm not his mother.
This is my mother. I've done video work for her in the past. For the Opera House.
Whatever. Drop me an email, give me a call. And I always like connecting and helping people out. So thank you very much.